beaten up this week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's an understatement. It's a crazy week, but
it's
almost to the finish line.
Almost there. Get it across, and then this is the point. I always tell people as you're reframing this sort of piece of it, to know it really is about getting into a place where you're ready for you're so damn tired of it, you just want feedback on it. So Nico's got shaking his head. That's exactly what you should view this as. It's not done. It's gonna have holes in it. There's not everything there, but again, a lot of the stuff that I'm gonna really be trying to do is make sure that your big idea hangs together. The structure of it is there to make you look good. Your kind of the way you're framing these things is there, and so it makes a big leap from first version to second, third, fourth version. So that's sort of the biggest leap here is this one right there. So you guys will get there. Well, so I guess, do you want to maybe just do a quick round robin of how everyone's feeling or whatever like that, and then I can talk about kind of structuring what to do to prepare for when your manuscript's ready for feedback.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can do that. I'll call out names, but I'll start. So yeah, I mean, I've been pretty busy this weekend, busting out quite a bit of chapters. I had several. I was going on a really good streak Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I have a midterm tomorrow, so today and yesterday I was kind of focused on that. But if I can go on that exact same style for the rest of the week of just grinding out the chapters, then I should be more than okay and hopefully ready. And yeah, so I'm excited to see it come to fruition. I've been really happy about the quality of chapters I've been writing, and I can't wait to finish them up. Yeah.
Writing bender.
Yeah, honestly. And then we'll go to Nico.
Yeah, I'm just pushing through. So basically, I have 3 chapters left, and busy knocking out my intro. So I watched all the videos again, built everything. Now I just have to incorporate it into a story. But otherwise, I'm aiming to have everything done by Wednesday. But much like you, Carson, I've just been trying to get over that last little hump. And so yeah, but otherwise, getting really, really close to finishing. I just hit 31,000 words. So
nice, congrats!
Great. Yeah, that's awesome.
It's great.
Yeah. All right. We'll go to Julia.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi. I am doing pretty well this week, along with Carson. Has been probably one of the hardest weeks I've ever had in college. The last little senior year wrap up, but I did a lot before this, so I feel really confident that this weekend I pretty much have the bulk of everything done. I just want to go back to certain chapters and clean things up and add some more information where needed. But other than that, I feel pretty ready to submit. I just want to get past a couple days this week, but I feel like I set myself up in a good way.
Good. It's great.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, all right. And then last but not least, Allie.
Hi, yeah. I kind of took a little hiatus, but I've actually been super productive the last couple days. Really started to buckle down, and yeah, it's almost like the pressure of the impending deadline helps me be more productive and just actually sit down and crank some things out rather than putting it off. So that's been good.
Good.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree with that. Just the pressure. It's making me write better. So
it is. And I think you'll find that, you'll get it to a place where it'll be ready for feedback is kind of the way to think about it. So I don't want to keep you guys too long, but I did want to kind of talk about sort of the key things to be thinking about to sort of put this ready. So the simple things here, just to sort of be tactical about it, is, the goal here is to complete as many chapters as you can. But to make sure that you sort of, in your Quip manuscript folder, you have an entire sort of manuscript together. Now, each of these should be as individual chapters. So introduction, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. So keep them as separate documents. And then in it, basically what I would suggest is, sort of basically just get them to a point where you're done and sort of just be ready to be done with it. Don't try and I'll just polish one more last thing. At the end of the day, you're going to have a whole other round of revisions on it. So my suggestion is to make sure you have every single chapter done. Now, the key thing to do is to sort of signal when you're ready, have all the chapters in that folder, and then add a document at the start that says sort of notes or comments on manuscript or whatever you want to do in that one, and basically leave me a little bit of notes on it. So Nico may say, hey, listen, I feel really good about chapters 1, 2, 5, and 10. The other ones I'm okay on, but these are the ones I feel really good about. Or, listen, I ran out of steam. I didn't wind up getting, I've got an outline into chapters 10 in here, but the rest of them are in pretty good shape. Or, the biggest thing I'm feeling like is I just don't know if I totally love my introduction or whatever it has. Just talk to me as if you're, here's where you're at. Because remember, my whole goal is to read it from a standpoint of like taking it and making it to the next level of revision. So we're sort of going to, you're going to take a beat here. You're going to sort of finish this thing. We're going to take a couple days here, and you're going to kind of ruin my week for a bit where I'm going to go in and be reading these things. And it takes me several hours to go through, read them all, try and do some pretty substantive revision, structuring, and that sort of stuff. But to get you comments on how you can go back into it and make it better. And so the places that I'm largely focusing my work on are going to be on, number one, making sure the big idea of your book hangs together. So what is the big thing that you want to make sure you communicate? You have something here that is like really strong. And so a lot of that's going to come primarily by focusing on the introduction and really like the first couple chapters in this overall structure of the book. So is the big idea really nailed down? Number two, I want to make sure that really you've got kind of a structure that allows you to teach something that shows what's really important there. So how does the overall thing happen? So, maybe you need to pull this chapter forward, Julia, or maybe you need to sort of move these things around. Like that's sort of the second thing, is really making sure, again, the overall way that you communicate in your book happens. So usually I'll offer hey, maybe here's how you might want to revise your sort of the ordering of this one. And the last one that we'll talk about really is like how to basically kind of like structure your chapters. And so typically what I'll be doing is I'll sort of be looking to sort of maybe take one of your chapters and do some restructuring of it to kind of make sure it fits together. So that's kind of the stuff you should expect. I'll have a document for you that says, here's my overall feedback on some things to improve, typically kind of some revisions on your introduction, and then some notes on in that, like on how to actually structure the overall thing, and then typically a sample chapter or two where I've gone in and kind of tried to reorder it. Now, what you're going to be doing kind of pretty much on the heels of this one, you're going to take your sort of first draft and you're going to make a copy of it. And you're going to start the process of like filling in holes and revision. So again, going back to like, so let's just say Nico has 10 chapters and the 10th chapter wasn't done. You're going to basically send me, hey, I'm ready to go for this one. Feedback, you're going to put this one is like, this is done. This is the locked in version. And then you're going to copy a whole nother version of it. And you're going to start working on revisions and on a revision plan. And Carson and Brian will be spending some time setting all that stuff up for you guys on that front. So core things to do. Number one, put all the individual chapters in a single folder under your manuscript folder. Number two, add yourself sort of a document in there that has notes on it. And number three, when you're ready for my review, tag me and your sort of editor, and say, hey, I hate this damn thing. I'm done. Give me some feedback. And so what I will typically do is I will give feedback in the order it's received. So when you're ready, if you're ready on Wednesday or you're ready today, do it, and I will pick those as we go. So I have 4 more to finish right now from prior authors. So once I get through those 4, the next ones will be your guys' group in that regard. So remember the last thing in this one too, is your goal really is to make sure that you have something that you believe is a complete sort of like plan of what your manuscript is going to be. So, don't leave a kind of a chapter saying to be written. Go in and kind of put some outlines in it, put some notes in, these sorts of things. Like even if you don't have any of it written yet, put in those notes in there, or where you have holes in there, kind of instruction. Remember, I'm reading it to sort of like be able to imagine any holes you have or gaps you have or stuff like that. If you're like, listen, I just don't have a great hook for this yet to lead off the book or this chapter, just put that in there. I'm looking for it in that sort of way. So remember, my goal is to kind of go through and really help you get instructions for the next round of revisions. And really, then you're going to have that next phase of revision, which is going to take it from, hey, this is ready enough for Eric's feedback. And I'm going to tell you like, hey, this is what you need to do. And the next round of revision really is to get it prepared for your advanced readers. So that'll be people that you'll send it to for feedback on this one who are not inside this family, right? People who are like, people who are interviewed in your book and that sort of stuff. So that's kind of the next phase of revisions. You'll get that out to them. And so that'll be sort of, you've got your first draft, your second draft will go to them, your third draft will get the feedback from them, and you'll revise it, get it to your copy editor, and your copy editor will help you get it into final form. So we got, again, this is just 1.0. We've got all the way to 4.0 before it's sort of ready for mass consumption. But the first version is sort of, I'm going to be thinking about, is your big idea, how's your big idea come together? How's the structure of the book hang together? How's like sort of the structure of your chapters come together? And is there anything else that I think seems like it's really missing to kind of make this thing come across the line? So that's sort of the big stuff from me. I'm super stoked actually to read them. I think it was really fun to talk to all of you guys and hear kind of like just in these like videos that we put together, and we're starting to pull them all together. It's neat to see the stories that how these things have evolved an awful lot from the very beginning. But I think you'll see that conversation we had about your book and your big idea there, translating that into the first draft and translating that on further will be pretty great. So any questions kind of from me on what to expect, how to spend your time, anything else I can answer before you guys keep rocking
I
it?
have a quick question.
Of course.
So whenever we have the feedback, because we're working on the chapters and we're going to submit it to you, should we just leave the feedback that we've already gotten from our developmental editors for the second round?
Yeah,
perfect.
I would leave that feedback in there from developmental editors and just sort of leave it in there. You can make changes as you want. Again, it's sort of, you submit what you're ready to submit, right? And I think you'll sort of, there is a whole other revision stage you're going into. So understand that great books are not written, they're rewritten. Now, if you decide, you get some feedback and you're like, oh, great, I need to add this other section, great. Basically everyone should submit something by next Monday, right? To make sure that I have, is that the date, the final date? Next Monday? Whatever date it is. Yeah, next Monday. So have it done by then, but as much as you want to do and then, great. If you want to wait and basically do it all afterwards, you can do that too. But it's up to you to give me something that you're ready for feedback on. And again, my feedback will be much more on the high level, big idea, overall structuring, intro, and that sort of stuff. So I won't, if there's something like, hey, you're using too many commas, like, I don't care. So there'll be other people who will worry much more about that one. But if someone's like, hey, I think the structure of these chapters seems to be off a little bit, you might want to attack those things. Because again, I'm looking at it from assuming we get grammar better and all that sort of stuff better, what will the book read like a really great book? Will it have all the credibility, all the content you need? And so, but editing things, I won't. I like just kind of gloss over those things.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Eric, what's the timeline for the next revision process?
I think Carson can give you the specifics of it, but it's typically you have about 2.5 months or so of kind of revision, the full-on revision process, maybe a little bit more. I think Carson will probably map out the whole thing, but generally speaking, what's that?
I was saying, we'll figure it out, but yeah.
Yeah, it's about 2.5 months, but generally speaking, the idea here is to you'll revise this in waves. And so you'll basically typically start by going in and trying to nail down your introduction and probably like the first 3 chapters or so to get them to a place where you can send out a first wave of feedback to sort of your advanced readers. And then you'll kind of like keep it in that way. So the goal is to, basically not, for the most part, to your advanced readers, send this in chunks because they won't read the whole thing anyways. You'll send a few chapters and then you'll get some feedback. You'll send some more chapters. The other thing you'll do in the advanced reader process is you'll actually send out sections where someone's referenced. So if you interviewed someone, you'll send out that section or that chapter to the people that are referenced there in that way. So that's kind of the next phase is really about getting it ready for public consumption. And that means sort of sharing it in that way and then taking their feedback and improving it and that sort of way. So it's about 2.5 months or so of revisions, which you're probably like, oh my God, I can't revise this thing anymore. But you'll find once you get feedback on it, you'll get the sense of like, oh, okay, now I see how this thing is. And a lot of it is then kind of taking style and structure and sort of like, you'll see it again, it makes a very big leap from version 1. It's always funny because I always go back and read the books at the very end. And so I see your first draft and they're mediocre, right? Like that's just how they are. And then I go back and read the book and I was like, oh, wow, this is great, Nico. Wow, Allie, like how did you make this leap? So you'll see that like my instructions are really intended to make sure that like structurally it's all there. And then with the copy editing polish and the polish you'll have from there will get really great. You'll have a lot of hands that'll start to touch this once you get from this version on forward. You'll have a marketing editor that'll be assigned to your book that'll be looking for key elements to help you that you'll share in blog posts and content. So you'll have that person helping you. You'll have, sort of a kind of a copy editor who'll be reading. You'll have advanced reader feedback. There'll be a lot of hands that start to make this thing really great. And that's kind of part of the magic of it is it's felt probably mostly your pushing and some editing help and a little bit from me, but it's going to start to get lots of hands all over it.
Yeah. No, yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a good time, but gotta finish it up. But it'll be good.
Cool. Well, message me with any questions. Again, like I said, when you're ready, just, this is never ready, remember, so it's not going to be finished at this point. But when you're sort of like just tired of it and I can't do anymore, but you have enough of it, everything's laid out, structured, even if you haven't written stuff. If you just get to a point you just can't write anymore, you're like, I can't do chapter 10, I'm done. That's fine. Don't beat yourself up on it. The goal is to get it to a place where you're ready for substantive feedback. And that's really what I'm going to try and do, is help you take it from where it is now onto the path to being really, really great. And that'll just come from a lot of making sure your big idea is there, making sure your overall book structure hangs together, and lastly, kind of making sure that the way you're approaching chapters work. And so nearly everyone has all three of those things that are changed in some way, shape, or form. So it is just part of the process. As long as you have a lot of the elements there, we'll make sure we're pulling them around until they're really good.
Yeah. All right. Well, cool. Any other questions for me or Eric? All right. Well, sounds good. Yeah. Well, good luck writing, everybody. Thanks for coming, Eric.
Absolutely, guys. We will see you. You're on the home stretch here. Manuscripts across the line, guys.
Yeah. All right.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.
All right. We'll end the meeting there. I don't have anything else. Does anyone have any other questions or anything?
Just a template. I'm just putting together my intro. Is there a template for the intro, like once you have watched all the videos and whatnot, or should I just put it together?
Oh, no, there's no template. Just whatever. Yeah, I mean, the videos helped you hopefully lay out the pieces and then just plug the pieces in from there, but no specific template.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else?
Also,
yeah.
Just logistically, to clarify, we're supposed to just have like each chapter as an individual document in our create manuscript folder, and then
yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, but then where do we like physically tag Eric in it?
So I would you can either do your manuscript plan, or if you're going to make like a notes document, for example, that would be where the one what you were saying, make the notes document.
Oh, right, yeah.
But make sure everything's in a folder first, and then be like, hey, add Eric. It's all in the folder this document's in, and that'll be it. So.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll wrap up the meeting. Good luck writing, everybody. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns. I'm trying to get over that last little bit too, so it'll be a fun week. But yeah. All right. See you guys later.
Thanks, Carson.